What's up, everyone? One thing I gotta say that really annoys me is the hate RJ Barrett gets. People are really sleeping on him. I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that RJ plays for the Knicks. The fact of the matter is, RJ made the Rising Stars Challenge. He put up good rookie numbers, but because he didn't set the world on fire like John Morant and Zion Williamson, people think he won't ever be a star. If RJ was performing like this on any other team, I'm sure fans would be high on him. But because he plays for the laughingstock that is the Knicks, he's slept on. I mean, you got NBA YouTubers spewing BS like this.
Number 3, RJ Barrett gets a C, and I'm being generous. Knicks fans will choose to look at this number over here, 14.3 points per game, fourth among rookies, or this number, taking the second most free throws, and totally ignore this and this. What I'm saying is, very impressive that he gets to the line a lot, but he could hardly hit a free throw. I like the 5 rebounds per game, but he shot 43% on twos and 32% on threes. That is beyond awful. One of the worst shooters in the NBA. I don't care that he's a rookie.
Anyway, in this video, I'm going to explain why all the naysayers are wrong and why RJ Barrett is the most underrated rookie in this draft class and will be an all-star one day. Before we get started, if you like videos like this, I have plenty more of them on the channel. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before July, and your support is really appreciated. With all due respect to these other YouTube channels, I don't believe for a second they're actually watching Knicks games. I think they're just looking at stats and making judgments. There's no way in hell they're actually watching the games. Now, RJ Barrett did average 14 points and 5 boards a game, but he did that while only shooting 40% from the field, 60% from the free throw line, and 32% from 3. Now that looks really bad out of context, but if you actually look at the dysfunctional situation RJ was in, you understand that the incompetence of the Knicks contributed to his numbers being so low. Let me explain. Look at the Bucks. Part of the reason Giannis is so dominant is not just because he's a great inside scorer, but because he's surrounded by shooters. Guys like Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, and George Hill space the floor for him. You need at least 3 outside shooters on the floor so that way your slasher can have driving lanes. Well, what did the Knicks do? They signed guys like Payton and Julius Randle that can't shoot the ball at all. Just look at the Knicks starting lineup. It completely lacks outside shooting. Elfrid Payton, Mo Harkless, Julius Randle, and Taj Gibson are all awful outside shooters. So for the naysayers, how exactly was RJ supposed to be efficient when every time he attacks the basket, he has to go up against a wall of defenders? This is what RJ dealt with all season. It's very hard to be efficient when you aren't playing with guys who could spread the floor. This is part of the reason why RJ didn't shoot a high percentage. In fact, the Knicks front office knows this is an issue, and as a result, they're planning to acquire shooters this offseason. It was reported not too long ago that the Knicks are looking for complementary players around RJ, and this includes players that could stretch the floor. Now, along with the fact that RJ has poor spacing, we need to remember that most rookies tend to be inefficient. While it is true that RJ shot the ball poorly his first year, people are being way too hard on a 19-year-old rookie. The fact of the matter is, most rookies shoot the ball poorly in their first year. Even some of the top players in the league shot the ball poorly in their first year. Kevin Durant is one of the top 20 players in NBA history, but guess what? He only shot 43% from the field and 28% from 3 his rookie season. Luka has really emerged as one of the top players in the NBA in just 2 years, and guess what? He only shot 43% from the field his rookie year and just 33% from 3. LeBron James is one of the top 10 players of all time, and guess what? He only shot 42% from the field his rookie year and just 29% from 3, which is really horrible. To me, hating on RJ Barrett, a first-year player, because he only shot 40% from the field is stupid, especially considering the fact that he doesn't have the right spacing. People hating on RJ due to his percentages clearly aren't watching the games and just drawing conclusions based on stats. Another area of critique that the naysayers tend to have is RJ's poor shooting. And it is true that RJ didn't shoot well from three or from the free throw line this year. But I do think RJ will be a good shooter at some point in the NBA, but it will take a few years to develop. RJ knew he needed to improve his shooting going into the league, and that was one of the main things he worked on last summer. In fact, it was reported last summer that one of the things RJ and his trainer was looking to improve the most was his outside shooting. Now, not just getting reps up, but improving his shot mechanics. According to his trainer, Barrett has moved his right hand on the side of the ball for a smoother release and turns his stance to allow for a more fluid shot. These changes has really helped to improve RJ's shooting. In order to have good shooting form, your feet really need to be turned instead of facing straight at the basket. The reason for this is because by using the turn, your shot is more aligned straight towards the rim, and a shot heading straight towards the rim is more accurate. Believe it or not, while this goes against the basic fundamental coaches teach, this shooting mechanic is way better. If you were to examine all the great shooters in the league, they all use the turn. Ray Allen is one of the greatest shooters of all time, but look at his shooting form. Notice how when he catches the ball, he turns, making for a more fluid shot. Kobe Bryant is not only one of the greatest players of all time, but also a great shooter. Does his feet look like it's square towards the basket, or does it look like it's turned? To further explain this point, I'm going to let Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown explain why the turn is good to have in your shooting mechanics.
The second thing we talk about is the turn. So get the ball back on top. Let's watch the hop again. Here's the hop. Now watch how he ends up when he's facing the ball at the basket. His feet are turned toward his weak side hand. Now, Miguel, tell us a little bit about what that does when you have a turn with your feet.
It pretty much aligns your hip and your shoulder right in the middle of the basket.
Just based on examining old game footage, I could tell RJ has added the turn. Look at this game footage of RJ shooting free throws for Team Canada. His feet aren't turned, they're aligned straight to the basket. Now notice a year later how instead of being straight towards the basket, RJ's feet are turned towards the basket. This creates better basket alignment, leading to a better shot. And while RJ Barrett only shot 32% from three this year, he had stretches this season where his shooting was great. In December, RJ Barrett had a 12-game stretch of shooting 39% from three and 77% from the free throw line. RJ has a strong work ethic. He's willing to put in the time and the effort to improve. I do believe that RJ will become a good three-point shooter and a good free throw shooter in the NBA, but it's going to take at least a few seasons. Now, I think another reason RJ gets all the doubt is because he's often compared to Ja Morant, who went right ahead of him in the NBA draft. While RJ put up 14 points and 5 boards a game, Ja Morant averaged 17 points and 7 assists on an extremely impressive 49% from the field and 37% from three. Now, without context, Ja seems worlds better than RJ. But what fans need to understand is that RJ and Ja played in two completely different situations. In Memphis, Ja Morant plays in an offense where he's given the green light. He's allowed to run the team offense, and as a result, he takes the most shots on his team. Ja Morant's high usage allowed him to put up better stats this year. Obviously, the more touches you get, the more opportunities you have to score. RJ Barrett, on the other hand, was the third or even the fourth option on the Knicks. Instead of being allowed to run the offense for his team, like Ja Morant, RJ was used as a complementary player. Julius Randle took the most shots on the team, followed by Marcus Morris and then RJ. Along with that, RJ had to play with a ball-dominant guard in Elfrid Payton, who tended to freeze RJ out and just play two-man game with Julius Randle instead. Oh, you don't believe me? Listen to what these announcers for the Hornets had to say.
Replaces Devontae Graham. Something of note, I don't believe that RJ Barrett has touched the ball. He's got the ball now, but he went 5 minutes without touching the ball once.
That's an announcer on an opposing team noticing that the Knicks are foolishly freezing out their rookie. The Knicks should be trying to run as much offense through RJ as possible to develop their number 3 overall pick, but instead, they somehow think developing Julius Randle and Elfrid Payton is a better idea. This is why even though RJ would have dominant games, sometimes you wouldn't even notice he's on the court because his teammates wouldn't pass the ball to him. The fact that RJ still managed to average 14 points per game, despite playing next to other ball-dominant players, is pretty impressive in my opinion. So to me, faulting RJ for not performing at Ja Morant's level is unfair. Ja has the keys to the Grizzlies' offense, while RJ is forced to play third fiddle behind veterans on the Knicks. If RJ was allowed to be a number 1 option on a team with spacing, I'm sure he would have averaged at least 17 points and 4 assists a game this year. Now look, I'm not saying RJ is as good as Ja, but Ja was in a way more advantageous situation that allows him to thrive. Lastly, let's not forget that RJ Barrett had a very solid rookie season, especially when you consider the circumstances. In fact, RJ has undoubtedly been a top 5 rookie in the NBA when you examine the stats. On the season, RJ Barrett finished 3rd amongst rookies in points per game. He finished 4th amongst rookies in rebounds a game. He finished 7th amongst rookies in assists a game, and he finished 4th amongst rookies in steals per game. And while RJ doesn't shoot free throws at a high level, check this out. He's number 1 out of the entire rookie class at getting to the free throw line. Now, not only does RJ rank 1st amongst rookies in getting to the free throw line, but he also ranks 33rd in the entire league at free throws a game. RJ Barrett is getting to the free throw line at the same rate as some other legit all-stars in the league, such as Kemba Walker, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum. That's extremely impressive for a 19-year-old rookie. Being able to get to the free throw line at a high rate is an extremely valuable skill. Just ask James Harden. Part of the reason he's able to put up such incredible scoring totals is because he's able to get to the free throw line several times a game. RJ Barrett is already pretty good at getting to the free throw line. He just needs to learn how to knock them down at a high rate. The fact that RJ is top 5 in so many rookie categories tells me he's a top 5 rookie in the NBA, and he'll definitely make the all-rookie first team. I definitely believe RJ will be an all-star. He's already very good at getting to the rim and getting to the foul line. Once RJ becomes a better shooter and the Knicks build around him better, he'll get to that all-star level. I could see RJ reaching an all-star level by his 3rd or 4th season, but the Knicks have to get RJ some shooting and not surround him with ball hogs like Julius Randle. In fact, I'm not the only one who thinks this way. It wasn't too long ago that some NBA scouts weighed in on RJ Barrett's potential, and quite a few of them think that he has all-star potential. Recently, a scout said he's got a chance to be an all-star. His upside is really big if he can become a consistent threat from the outside. With that said, I really appreciate everyone who stuck around to the end. Go ahead and tell me in the comment section what you believe RJ's potential is. Do you believe that RJ has the potential to become an all-star? With that said, please like the video, please subscribe to my channel, and everyone, thanks for watching.